Welcome to Death by Disney. I'm your host, Adam, and on this show I watch literally every Disney movie that has been made in chronological order. Today we're talking about 1965's That Darn Cat. Apparently there was a remake in the 90s, but this is from the 60s, 1965. The plot: after a kidnapped bank teller uses a neighbor's wandering cat to send an SOS, the FBI assigns a cat allergic agent to the case. It stars Hayley Mills, Dean Jones, and Dorothy Provine. I gave this 4 out of 10 stars. It's not bad, but I expected more. Disney live-action movies from the 1960s were, in a word, crazy. You have wild plots about pirate ghosts, electricity transforming a teenager's brain into a computer, and you have over-the-top and wild acting. This movie really wants to be one of those movies. The problem is, its star is a cat. There's nothing wrong with the cat, and I think for the most part the cat was just being a cat throughout most of the movie, so it probably had a good time. But Dean Jones, who plays the lead, needs a crazy funny man that can feed off his manic straight man energy. The cat is not funny. For a much better performance from Mr. Jones, please watch Blackbeard's Ghost. The movie does manage to evoke a certain era of American life. I was also wondering while watching this movie who it was directed to, because the main bad guys in the film say they're going to do horrible things to someone they've kidnapped, and there are a lot of jokes that are definitely aimed towards adults. So I think this was probably more of a film that you could convince your kids to watch with you because it was from Disney. Also strange was the casting of Hayley Mills as an all-American girl when clearly her accent is from a little more across the other side of the Atlantic. This is particularly strange because in the story she has an older sister with a perfect American accent, has a friend who she has known since she was a child who has a perfect American accent, so perhaps she has some sort of weird British speech impediment. It's not a bad movie, but it's also not a good movie, and it's not as enjoyable as I thought it would be. So, at this point in the podcast, I usually give you some trivia, and then I do what's called Voice of the People, where I give you what other people have thought. So, a good review of the movie and a bad review of the movie. So, the trivia is I mentioned that I thought that the cat was having a good time, but the cat unfortunately was not having a good time. So Hayley Mills, in fact, wrote a book later about her career, and about this movie she said that the cat, to make the cat hiss, they had like a live pigeon, and so they brought the pigeon towards the cat, and the cat swatted at the pigeon, and it cut the pigeon open with its claws, and there was pigeon blood everywhere. So, yeah, animals were harmed in the making of this film. Oh, jeez. So, surprisingly, though, there's not a lot of negative reviews of this film. The lowest rating that I could find was 3 out of 10. The title, not very funny, not family friendly. I watched That Darn Cat decades ago when I was a kid. Rewatched it in 2025. It is not gunny, I don't know what that means, not a family movie, and has not aged well at all. To start with, the plot involves bank robbery and kidnapping. The thugs are very threatening and scary. They are holding a woman hostage and threaten to kill her numerous times, all in just the first 15 minutes, pointing a gun at her, tied up and terrified. Not family fare at all. The thugs are just scary throughout the film, even when trying to be in a comedic scene. Not funny. Acting is mediocre. Scenes are a back lot of some studio, and it looks like it, not realistic. Acting is mediocre. Roddy McDowall is okay. Haley Mills chatters too fast. Music is okay. Animal tricks are supposed to be funny, but I wonder how well the animals were treated in filming this. Overall, a big disappointment, and that's from Viewer 111 from 2025, as they mentioned. Yeah, usually with these negative reviews, I have something to say about it. Usually I disagree, but I would say I agree with that review completely. So, first of all, yeah, the bad guys were too scary for it to be funny, for it to be like a family film, and then they tried to make the bad guys, less scary by doing funny things with them, and it didn't really work. And I think maybe the actress who's playing the bank teller is really legitimately terrified, or at least, acting in such a way that she looks really legitimately terrifying. So you think to yourself, oh, this is not a comedy. This is like serious. So yeah, I do agree with that. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say Haley Mills's problem is that she chatters too fast. It's just her accent is very strange. And yes, the animals were not treated well, especially pigeons, for this, unfortunately. Okay, and now we have the complete opposite point of view. 10 out of 10. This may be Disney's best. That Darn Cat is terrific entertainment. It's a thriller that's disguised as a family movie. Think about what's going on in this movie. There's kidnapping, murder plots, jealous lovers, and a race against time. The villains are great because they play it straight. Neville Brand and Frank Gorshin both deliver excellent performances. They are bad guys. They're not the usual Disney bumbling villains. These guys are killers. The rest of the cast are also great. That Darn Cat is very funny and surprisingly suspenseful. It's so refreshing to see a family movie that doesn't talk down to the kids in the audience. Also, honorable mention, Ed Wynn. And that's from PL Telephone. PM Telephone. Um, yeah, what to say about that? Um, I I think that each of these reviews, my review and the other two, they hit upon the fact that the same thing. So two people agreed that the violence was a bit too realistic for a children's film, and this person thought that it was okay. Um, I don't have any problems with family films being dark, and maybe that's because I did grow up in an age where family movies were quite dark, and there was. I don't think they even have this anymore. There was this genre called like horror comedy. So, but horror also was much bigger in the 80s. But I mean, Gremlins is a horror movie, but it's also comedy. So I was never scared of Gremlins, but I can imagine that it would be legitimately terrifying. And Ghostbusters as well. Um, I was terrified by the librarian ghost, and I didn't really understand the Dan Aykroyd scene, but I was for sure terrified of the librarian ghost. And there's others too, like Dark Crystal, I guess will be. I'm not sure if that's a Disney film or a Jim Henson production of a Disney film. I'm not sure. Maybe it will be on this list. But there were like really dark things when I was a kid. So I don't mind something being dark, but I think there's a difference between being dark and being violent. Um, because darkness is a morality, right? So you can say like it's kind of the fight between good and evil, and Gremlins is kind of funny because they're, I mean, funny, not funny, ha ha ha, but funny, more interesting. It's a, um, it's a morality tale, right? Even though gremlins are forces of nature, they're magical. So if you don't follow the magical rules, you will be punished, and everything around you will be punished. So it is a morality tale, all about following the rules. So that's what I mean by darkness. So a movie can be dark for kids, but I think it needs to have some kind of structure, some bigger theme like that. And I don't know what Ghostbusters' bigger theme was. That environmental protection was a bad thing? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, would I recommend this movie? No, probably not. And I can't wait till I get to the remake in 40 years. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye bye.